Beyond the lyrics, this project will engage aspiring hip-hop artists across the city of Toronto, allowing them the chance to discuss the meaning behind some of the music that is currently in circulation and address any misperceptions.
Welcome back to another episode of Beyond the Lyrics. I'm your host, Tay, and today we're here with no other than Mr. Swagger Rite. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm fine.
That's good. Now, let the people know who Mr. Swagger Rite is.
You know what I mean? I am Swagger Rite, aka Mr. Borden, aka Mr. Bill Russell Ball, aka Western Road's finest. Yes, I'm really finessing on Western. But yeah, that's basically it.
Okay, now, what does HBMB stand for?
Well, basically, I come from Humber Boulevard. Humber Boulevard is in the North York area. You know, it's Western Road and Black Creek, major intersection. Basically, what it stands for, because around my area, we make a lot of money and stuff. And, like, growing up, I always had money, you know? And I just wanted to stand for something, like, this wasn't for, like, a gang or anything. It was just for me to feel good about myself, like, making up something and standing for something. And it basically stands for H Block Money Boys,
Okay.
which is Humber, you know? If you're from the H Block, you're from Humber Boulevard. Money Boys, you know? So we're money boys. You know, we get money.
Now, Drake does make a lot of references to Western Road.
A lot.
How do you feel about him doing that?
Well, you know, it's pretty cool, you know, to have a guy that inspires everybody, you know, including myself, to shout out a neighborhood, which is my neighborhood, you know.
What were some aspirations you had as a kid? And was rapping one of them? Did you always want to be a rapper?
I'm just a talented individual. I just feel like as a kid, I just wanted to do it all. You know, I'm sure a lot of kids feel like they just want to do it all, you know what I mean? And I grew up dancing. I used to be in a dance group. You know, we did a lot of things. You know, I've been in a lot of videos.
Okay.
We won a lot of shows. Yeah, I was signed to Maximus. I don't know if you know Director X. He's the one who shot the God's Plan that Drake just dropped. Right. Yeah, we're signed to Maximus. We're underneath him. Mm-hmm. So any like videos that he had to get done, we did everything. Like Rihanna's first video was done by X, and yeah, it was called Ponder Replay, and we were actually in there, you know. Yeah, it was lit. It was lit. Sean Paul Temperature. Mm-hmm. So I did a lot of stuff. I used to play ball too. Okay. So that's how everything comes. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so what would you say to, at your current position right now, what would you say to the younger you growing up?
I would say, don't always stress yourself about what you want to be in life. Like, we're humans. We're good in everything. Anything we put our minds to. You know what I mean? If you want to build a plane, you can build a plane. You know, you just got to do your research and work hard. You know? I'm just telling the youth today, become something. Build your name. Build your brand. Stand for something or fall for nothing. You know, that's what a lot of old heads always told me, you know. Stand for something or fall for nothing. You know, when you die, do you want to be like just a person that was on earth, nobody knows or nobody cares, or do you want to be legendary? Do you want to be somebody who everybody's going to talk about, you know, when you're gone? Even through your kids, like, oh yeah, your grandpa was the greatest guy. You know, I want to be that guy. You know what I mean?
Leave a legacy.
Yeah, exactly. So leave a legacy.
Okay, now let's talk about a little bit about your music. Now, one of your most recent singles.
I'm the user dropping forex. All designer down a Bailey, ride on Jordans.
Now, talk about the process of writing that song, recording that song. What was that like?
God does stuff in mysterious ways. I don't know. It was God, like, and it was my producer, and it was God. One of my friends, my close friends, he linked me up with his nephew that does beats or whatever. So I was like, okay, whatever. I'll it's family. So one thing about me, like, I'm an artist, and like, even if I was to blow up, I would still work with people that are below standard, like they're not famous or anything. If I know a person from day one and that person has talent, like, I'll deal with them. Okay. So he's like, yeah, my nephew produces, and I'm like, yeah, all right, whatever, tell him to send some beats. Dude sent that Robert Borden beat, And I was like, as soon as I heard the beat, I actually made up the chorus out of my head. I'm not used to drop, and I was like, yo, that's lit. And I'm like, yo, give me something to write it down before I forget it, right? And then I wrote it down, and then I was freestyling it, and then I was like, you know what, let me just write it. And I wrote it. I had it stored for like a couple of weeks, and then I decided to do it. And then boom, waited a couple weeks after. Actually, I waited a year after. A whole year.
Wow.
Yeah, well, not really a full year. It was in 2017, but I probably made it in the summertime.
Okay.
So it's not that far.
Okay. Now, I noticed a lot of your songs you name after Bill Russell.
Yeah.
What is that connection?
In the backcourt, 78-77. Celtics lead by 1. Russell almost lost. Big Bill.
They labeled me that guy, you know. Now they're calling me Mr. Robert. It's like every time I drop something, it's like, okay, I dropped Bill Russell. Yo, Mr. Bill Russell Ballin', yo. So when people give you a name, you gotta, you know what I mean? Like embrace it.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's the word I was looking for. Thank you for helping me
You're
out there.
very welcome.
But anyway, yeah. So you have to embrace it, and yeah. So that's just how it came about, you know. Everybody just labeling me, and I just run with it. You know what I mean? Mr. Robert Porter, Mr. Bill Russell Ballin', cause we Bill Russell Ballin' for real, man. You know what I mean? Real talk.
Okay, now, what do you think are some of the stereotypes that people portray you as or labeled you as?
You know what? That's a good question, because I honestly don't, like, I don't get stirred. Like, I don't ever see anything bad. Maybe because on my Instagram I'm so positive, so it's hard to say something bad about somebody who's positive because you're gonna look like the J.A. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, exactly.
That's good.
So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, no stereotypes. Yeah.
Now, do you wish the Toronto rap scene was more connected?
Everybody wishes the Toronto scene was more connected. Even the people who act like they don't.
Mm-hmm.
You know, everybody would like the unity. You get what I mean? Because it's a big thing. Like, I think it blocks a lot of opportunities that a lot of artists don't work together. You know, and I'm one of the artists that try to be the one. Like, you know what I mean? To reach out to other artists and, you know what I mean? Just put everything aside. Like, I don't like hood politics and those things. Like, I'm so grown that I don't care about those things. Right now, I'm thinking about music and I'm thinking about money. Double M. You know, if we can make money together, and we have little flaws that ain't really that serious, why can't we put it past each other and break bread? You know, we're not thinking pennies. You know what I mean? We're not thinking peanuts. We're thinking dollars. We're thinking $1 million. Like, if you could turn just me and you sitting in here into $1 million, wouldn't you do it?
Oh, for sure.
Of course.
100%.
You know what I mean? And that's how everybody should just look at it. Like, yo, we're doing music. You know what? Forget all this thing. Because everybody, like, there's a lot of people who has favorite artists that they want to see with other artists, but those artists don't agree. So it just ruins stuff for the fans. It ruins stuff for everybody. It just ruins stuff for the city. You know what I mean?
I agree. Now, you recently went to Austin, Texas, and they had a really dope Toronto artist lineup. Now, talk about that experience a little bit.
Oh, man, it was lit. Like, you know, there's a lot of dudes from the dot day, you know what I mean? A lot of dudes that, you know what I mean? I fucks with them. I don't know if I can swear that, but sorry.
Okay.
Well, anyways, you know what I mean? Like, I fucks with them, and, like man's like Young Tory, my brother, good guy, really good guy. Free, you know, September. You know, the list goes on. There's so many people. I don't want to, you know what I mean? If I left you out, I'm sorry. I still love you. Forgive me. But you know who you are. There's a lot of guys there, and it was a dope show, you know, put on by my boys Stefan Mitchell and Lucas. You know, so they did a good job on that. And right there, that was one of my first times seeing unity within Toronto itself. You know, because everybody was interacting with each other and, you know, just networking. You get what I mean?
You got an opportunity to network with some Toronto artists.
Exactly, and not just Toronto artists. I was invited on 2 tours. You know, one in London, one in the States. Like, the States people are just they're amazing people. You know what I mean? Shout out Austin, Texas, Houston, everywhere in Texas. Shout out Texas, LA, New York, Atlanta. You know what I mean?
Okay, so if you had to choose anybody to collab with, who would it be? You only get one person, your top person.
Gucci Man.
Gucci Man?
Yeah.
Okay.
Gucci Man.
Gucci Man. Why Gucci? Just out of curiosity.
Because I am the reincarnation of Gucci Man.
So can we expect any future collaborations with any of the artists you networked and met with in Texas?
Well, oh, most definitely. I've talked to a few artists and everything is pending. Everything is in the motion. You know what I mean? I already have a track, well, In Love with the K. I did a remix with Young Tory. So yeah, you know, shout out Free A. We're gonna work on something soon. So watch out for that. You know.
Okay, now for you, would you prefer to stay independent or is being signed something that you are trying to achieve?
Well, guys like me, I don't look towards getting signed. Like that's not my goal initially. My goal is to become somebody independently. Like I said, brand yourself. And branding yourself is basically becoming the label. And how I feel, I always tell people we are the label. You know what I mean? Because realistically, if I'm there chasing a label, why the hell would the label want me? I'm chasing them. Nobody ever wants the person that's chasing them. They want the person that's not chasing them. You know what I mean? And that's where the check's gonna come in. Because if they believe in my brand and be like, okay, well, this guy doesn't need us, they're gonna have to show me something that's gonna, make me go like, oh yeah, start doing some dances. You know what I mean?
Okay,
The check's right.
So what do you think separates you though from other artists?
Like realistically, I'm not the type of person that puts myself above other people. I feel like everybody's the same, but we're just in our own lane.
Okay, I like that.
You know what I mean?
So let us know what's coming up for Mr. Swagger Rite. Any mixtapes, shows,
Yeah.
singles, videos?
A lot of those, a lot of singles, a lot of videos. I got a mixtape coming in. I got a mixtape coming out soon. Trap Dreams Canada. Yeah, because instead of the American dream, it's a Canadian dream. And that's where I come in again, because I notice a lot of Canadian artists like to look at the American culture and like take stuff from the American culture, and like Americans are not the only one with history. That's why I made up Robert Borden.
When I wake up in the morning, counting hundreds, all I see is Robert Borden. I'm the youth to dropping for.
Why you have a Canadian artist saying he's making Benjamin? God, you a goddamn lie. You ain't in America. First of all, you never fly to America. Your video's in Canada, and you only got Canadian money. You don't got no Benjamin Franklins. You feel me? So I wanted to teach. You know what I mean? You gotta learn about your history. So I want to teach everybody that's tuned in to Toronto. I wanted them to know a bit about our culture and what type of money we have, and just keep it Canadian.
I like that.
Hey?
Now, what's your thought process when you're writing or creating a new song?
I thought it's life. Everything around me. I'm a visual person. Like anything I see, I could write about. It's like you see those artists that you see, like artists. You see the artists. Everything's the same. Creative. Like there's some people that could draw. They could just look at everything behind you and draw everything accurately. Me, I could see something and I could write about it accurately. I just made a song about Viola Desmond. Everything was accurate. I read about the story and I made a song about it. Anything you see, that's it.
Now, how does the beat influence your music?
The beat, and the beat influences everything, because all my music is different because of the beat. You know what I mean? If I hear a beat that sounds like it's supposed to be trap, that's what I'm gonna turn it to. If you play me a slow mellow beat, I'm gonna end up like, I'm not a singer. I just know how to sound good. I know how to be creative, and I know what I'm doing. Ain't somebody could tell me my voice is horrible, but they're not gonna tell me the music sounds bad. They're gonna be like, yo, he's not the best singer, but yo, that sounds good. And I know I'm not a singer. You could ask me, I'm not a singer, I'm a rapper, but I like to make different music. I'll make a rock song if there was a rock beat. I'll make a pop song. Like, you know, I'm the next black Michael Jackson. You're looking at him right now. You know, the Trap Michael. Yeah,
The Trap Michael.
The Trap Michael, yeah.
Again, how does your community influence your lyrics?
My community.
Uh, uh,
In every way, every aspect, you know, because I just rap about where I came from and what I see. You know, that's it. Everything around, like I said, life, everything around me. My life was, I spent my life in the hood, you know what I mean? Obviously, I'm not there now because you grow up in life, you know what I mean? You get yourself out the hood. The main point of being in the hood is to go through a little struggle, to learn about the real world, you know, to prepare for the real world, you know? And then boom.
Get out the hood.
Yeah, just get out the hood. That's it.
How do you feel people view you as an artist?
Yeah, so basically a lot of personalities, you know. I do a lot of motivational speeches, you know, through IG. You know, I do a lot of stuff. Like, I'm just this guy with a big personality. Like, one day I'm cooking and telling people, like, you need to teach your kids to cook. Like, you know, cooking nice five-star meals and stuff. You know what I mean? And then there's certain days where I just talk positive stuff. And, you know, I talk about unity all the time. You know, and a lot of people... And I talk about real stuff. I talk about the struggle. I talk about people using stress as an excuse to be lazy. You know, I do a lot of positive stuff. A lot of people hit me up in my DM and they're like, you know what, thank you. You know, because I say a lot of things that artists are scared to say. Like, you know, it's good to be passionate about stuff, about certain stuff. You know, it's good to show people the emotions, you know, that artists go through. You know, I'm a person just like you. You know what I mean? Just because you're going through something doesn't mean I ain't going through something. You know, and I just let people know, like, yeah, you see me turning up, you see me in these Ferraris and all these other stuff. But yeah, I'm just like you. Yeah, I go through it. I do my little rants. You know, but that's just the real in me. I can't be fake, and I don't feel. And me, I don't care what people think about me. I do things because of me. I don't do things for Instagram. I do things to show people, to teach people. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's it. Yeah, you already know it's your boy Swagger Rite, a.k.a. Bill Russell Ballin, a.k.a. Mr. Robert Borden, a.k.a. that Swagged Out Pedestrian. And you rocking with Beyond the Lyrics. We out here.
She gorgeous. She get money off imported. She got Chanel bag and them borders.